Imagine a man deliberately choosing to be buried alive, not as punishment, but as a twisted act of survival, a desperate gambit for the ultimate prize, a pirate ship. This isn't fiction. This is the chilling, virtually unknown tale from the golden age of piracy, where one captain faced a choice so extreme it beggars belief. His name was William Kidd, and his most audacious act wasn't seizing treasure, but seizing his own fate from the jaws of a subterranean tomb. The year is 1699. The Caribbean simmers under a brutal sun, a chessboard of empires and outlaws. Captain William Kidd, once a respected privateer sailing for the British Crown, had spiraled. Branded a pirate, chased across oceans, his reputation was in tatters, his fortune plundered, his hopes for royal pardon dwindling with every passing wave. He found himself stranded, shipwrecked or abandoned, on a desolate island. His crew, a motley collection of mutinous scoundrels, were scattered or dead. Kidd, a man who once commanded power and fear, was now utterly alone, staring at the vast, indifferent expanse of the ocean. His only hope for redemption lay in reclaiming a vessel, any vessel, to sail back to civilization and somehow clear his name. But how would a lone, marooned man acquire a ship in the most dangerous waters on Earth? Days bled into weeks. The tropical sun carved creases into Kidd's face, the salt wind scourged his skin. He scavenged, he cursed, he schemed. Then, a speck on the horizon. Not a friendly merchantman, but a slaver, its dark sails ominous against the crimson sunset. This was no ordinary vessel, it was the Adventure Galley II, a ship his former quartermaster, Robert Culliford, now commanded. Culliford, once loyal, now a rival, was circling like a shark. Kidd knew he stood no chance in a direct confrontation. But a desperate man dreams desperate dreams. He observed Culliford's routine, the lax security, the arrogance born of unchallenged dominance. He watched as the slaver's crew, celebrating a recent capture, indulged in rum-soaked revelry on the beach, leaving the ship lightly guarded. An impossible thought began to crystallize in Kidd's mind, a plan so insane, so utterly reckless, it just might work. Under the cloak of a moonless night, Kidd, fueled by a mad cocktail of desperation and cunning, began to dig. Not a grave for another, but for himself. He labored in secret, crafting a shallow pit near the water's edge, close enough to the slaver's anchored position to be heard, if he dared. He then, with chilling resolve, laid himself into the earth, pulling sand and loose rock over his body until only his head remained exposed, a grotesque living bust staring at the stars. The Adventure Galley II sat silhouetted against the night sky, a tantalizing prize. And then, he waited. As dawn approached, Kidd, with every ounce of his remaining strength and a voice hoarse from thirst, began to wail, a haunting, guttural moan, an unearthly cry echoing across the water. The few awake on Culliford's ship, startled, peered into the pre-dawn gloom. They saw him. A disembodied head, seemingly rising from the sand, crying out prophecies of doom, curses upon their ship, and spectral warnings of imminent sinking. Panicked, terrified by what they believed was a malevolent sea spirit, they cut their anchor, abandoning the ship in a frenzy, convinced it was cursed. They fled in their shore boats into the rising sun, leaving the Adventure Galley II adrift and abandoned. Kidd, dust-caked and gasping, clawed his way out of his self-made tomb. The ship was his. One man, buried alive, had scared an entire pirate crew into surrendering their vessel. Kidd quickly rallied a handful of stranded sailors and sailed the Adventure Galley II away. This incredible act of psychological warfare, though rarely recounted, stands as one of the most audacious maritime deceptions in history. What happened to Kidd afterward? The reacquired ship gave him a fleeting lifeline, allowing him to sail towards the British colonies hoping for a pardon. He even buried a portion of his treasure on Gardiner's Island, off the coast of New York, a fact later detailed in his trial. This burial, unlike his temporary, terrifying one, fueled centuries of treasure-hunting legends. However, his gamble ultimately failed. He was lured into a trap, arrested, and transported back to England. In 1701, despite his desperate efforts and claims of innocence, he was hanged for piracy and murder. His body was displayed in an iron cage over the River Thames for years, a gruesome warning to others. Historians later pieced together fragments of this buried alive incident from obscure court documents and sailors' testimonies, revealing the sheer desperation and bizarre cunning of a man fighting for his name and his life. Captain William Kidd's subterranean ruse, a forgotten chapter in the annals of piracy, showcases the incredible lengths to which a man, cornered and condemned, would go. He faced the very earth as both a prison and a weapon, emerging from its cold embrace not as a ghost, but as a master of manipulation. It's a stark reminder that the golden age of piracy wasn't just about cutlasses and cannons. It was about raw, primal instinct, ingenious deceit, and the unyielding will to survive, even if it meant burying yourself alive. If this mind-bending slice of history captured your imagination, then follow for more untold tales from the depths of the past. There's always more history lurking just beneath the surface.